A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant ruling that underscores the seriousness of corruption within military contracting, Leonard Fat Leonard Francis has been sentenced to 15 years in prison for orchestrating a decade-long bribery scheme that implicated numerous U.S. Navy officers. U.S. District Judge Janice L. Sammartino delivered the sentence on Tuesday, accompanied by a hefty financial penalty that includes $20 million in restitution to the Navy and a $150,000 fine. Moreover, Francis is required to forfeit $35 million in what has been described as ill-gotten proceeds from his illegal activities. This sentence is a culmination of a lengthy legal saga that began with Francis's first guilty plea back in 2015, where he admitted to charges of bribery and fraud. His extensive cooperation with federal authorities has been a critical factor in the prosecution of this case. However, Francis's journey to sentencing has been anything but straightforward. In September 2022, just before his scheduled sentencing, he cut off his GPS monitor while under house arrest and fled the country, leading to an international manhunt. He was eventually apprehended in Venezuela and returned to the U.S. in December 2023. Judge Sammartino's ruling included a sentence of over 13.5 years for the bribery and fraud charges, plus an additional 16 months for his failure to appear in court. The sentences are to be served consecutively, emphasizing the severity of his crimes. U.S. Attorney Tara McGrath expressed her satisfaction with the outcome, stating, "Leonard Francis lined his pockets with taxpayer dollars while undermining the integrity of U.S. naval forces. The impact of his deceit and manipulation will be long felt, but justice has been served today." Francis's attorney, William Douglas Sprague, argued for a lesser sentence of just under 9 years, claiming that Francis's cooperation with the investigation warranted leniency. Sprague also pointed out that Francis's company had provided the Navy with exemplary services for many years. Unfortunately, as Leonard acknowledged in his early guilty plea and immediate cooperation, his greed drove him to commit bribery and to commit fraud, Sprague stated. The ramifications of Francis's actions have been extensive, leading to one of the largest bribery investigations in U.S. military history. Nearly 24 Navy officials, defense contractors, and others have been convicted and sentenced on various fraud and corruption charges as a direct result of this investigation. Francis, who once weighed 350 pounds and stood at 6'3", operated his family's ship servicing business, Glen Defense Marine Asia Limited, GDMA, which was a crucial supplier for U.S. Navy ships in Asia for over 2 decades. During this time, Francis used lavish gifts and extravagant parties to curry favor with naval officers, including Kobe beef, expensive cigars, and wild parties at luxury hotels across Southeast Asia. In exchange, these officers facilitated a corrupt scheme that allowed Francis to overcharge the Navy for services or bill for non-existent services at ports he controlled. Some officers even provided him with classified information and redirected military vessels to more profitable ports for GDMA. Francis's downfall began with a federal sting operation in September 2013, where he was arrested in San Diego under false pretenses. He later pleaded guilty to offering over $500,000 in cash bribes to various Navy officials and contractors, and was found to have defrauded the Navy of at least $35 million. While awaiting sentencing, Francis faced health issues, including treatment for renal cancer. He was placed under house arrest with a GPS monitor and security, but his escape just weeks before his sentencing shocked authorities. After fleeing to Mexico, Cuba, and ultimately Venezuela, he was caught attempting to board a flight to Russia, which highlighted the lengths he was willing to go to evade justice. The handling of the case has raised questions about prosecutorial conduct, with allegations of misconduct surfacing that led to the vacating of felony convictions for 4 former Navy officers. Although Judge Sammartino ruled that the prosecutor's actions were egregious, it was not sufficient to dismiss the case entirely. As the dust settles on this high-profile case, it serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities within the military contracting system and the necessity for stringent oversight and accountability. The sentencing of Leonard Fat Leonard Francis not only marks the end of one chapter, but also sets a precedent for future cases of corruption within the military framework. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.